So the Super Mario Galaxy movie is here, and it's bad, but I liked it. But also, that's kind of bad. We're gonna talk about it.
Gaming Cookie Guy!
Entertainment.
So this is not the video I thought I would be making for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I thought I would be making a rewrite video. I thought I'd be making a rewrite video because I didn't really like the first Super Mario movie, and I figured the sequel would be like pretty much the same thing with all the same problems. And on top of all of that, before going into this new movie, I heard it was getting pretty mixed to negative reviews. So imagine my surprise when I finally watched the movie and it pretty much addresses like all of my problems with the first Mario movie. Quick aside for my three biggest problems with the first Super Mario Bros. Movie. First off, there were far too many scenes, including like the climactic final battle, that took place in the quote unquote real world when that's not at all what I go to a Mario movie to see. Also, for a movie called Super Mario Brothers, Mario and Luigi spent very little time actually on screen together. They were separated for most of the runtime. And then finally, and maybe my biggest problem with the first Mario movie, is there were just so many popular music needle drops when you have this like vast library of amazing orchestral music. And then, yeah, Mario Galaxy literally fixes all of those things. Like, I can only recall a single scene that like takes place in the real world, and I think it's also the only scene that features a needle drop. It's the one with Yoshi kind of towards the beginning. The rest of the movie all takes place in like beautiful, new, vibrant, colorful locations, scored to, like, for the most part, the music you would recognize from the games. Everything from like Gusty Garden Galaxy to Jump Up Superstar. And yes, despite them splitting up some of the main cast for some of the runtime, they never really split Mario and Luigi up in this movie for more than like a scene or two. So we constantly got that great Mario Bros dynamic the whole movie. To their credit, I think the cast is doing a better job embodying the characters this time around. We have Charlie Day, Jack Black, Chris Pratt, all kind of settling into these characters. Chris Pratt, I heard you throw in a couple wahoos there in Sand Kingdom. Good for you. Newcomer Brie Larson as Princess Rosalina isn't given like a ton to do, but she's good while she's in there. The real surprise on the casting front for me has to be Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. because like I think the rest of the cast, while they're not like a maybe best fit for their characters, they're at least like bona fide A-list movie stars, and you kind of mold them into whatever you need them to be in these movies. Like, see Donald Glover as proof of that. But Benny Safdie is not an A-list actor. That's not an insult. He's just not. He is one half of like a very respected indie directing duo that I doubt like the average person would have heard of, let alone like a child. How he got this role over, say, like a Pete Davidson or any of the Stranger Things cast is a story I hope gets revealed at some point, because I would love to know how this happened. And having said all that, I think he does a good job as Bowser Jr. in this movie. He brings like this great teen angst energy, but he can also play very like innocent and childlike when they need him to. And I think if they were going to give this movie more of an overarching story, more of a heart to it, I could see them putting like this character in that role. And I think Benny Safdie could carry that emotional weight. But that's not the movie we got here. And I think amongst like a weird litany of other reasons, I think that's the main reason this movie is getting bad reviews. There is just no story in this thing. There are no character arcs. We just jump from cool looking thing to cool looking thing for an hour and a half straight. The characters exist however the plot needs them to exist in that scene. They're welcome to change completely in the next scene. And so the main like discourse surrounding this movie seems to be what side of the fence you fall on in that argument. And what's really interesting to me as someone who like is plugged into movie discourse, I feel like most of the time when we have this movie that causes a lot of buzz, makes a lot of waves, it's usually like, oh, well, did you like the story or did you not like the story? Did you think it was good or bad? With this movie, it's not whether the story was good or bad. It's, hey, as a fan, are you okay with not getting a story at all? And I think I've landed on the side of I don't really need there to be a story in my Super Mario movies. And to that extent, the movie basically gave me everything I could have wanted, because you can't deny this movie looked great. Like, almost every single scene and location is absolutely stunning, and the action scenes absolutely hit just like you'd want them to. I'd put the choreography up there with any animated action scene, especially when they deliver on some of the platforming action sequences that are unique to this character and this series of movies. And for me, that's just what Mario games have always been about. You max out the fun slider, you minimize the story slider, and I think in that spirit, this movie is actually a great adaptation of the source material. But, and it's a big but, even though I happen to like this movie, it does make me a little worried that Nintendo and Illumination are probably going to take all the wrong lessons from its success. Because it is clear at some point down the road, we are getting a Super Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe style team-up movie. And while I think this storyless approach works for a character like Mario, I don't think it would work well for a, say, Star Fox or Fire Emblem or Metroid. It would probably work for Kirby. But then again, I'd also love if they did some like very serious post-apocalyptic Forgotten Land movie. I'd watch the hell out of that. So if you didn't like Mario Galaxy because you wanted some Studio Ghibli level movie, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry they didn't adapt the game that you liked as a kid in the way that you would have liked. Believe me, I'm not saying that patronizingly. Like, I'm the guy on the internet whose most viewed video is complaining about like Wish and Kung Fu Panda 4. I get it. But if you didn't like Mario Galaxy because you think this is some like high quality slot machine, and now you fear that that slop will grow into a wave of sludge that'll wash over every single Nintendo IP you hold near and dear to your heart, then yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I kind of have that same worry. And I guess for now, we kind of just have to sit back, try and enjoy what we have, and see if that one question that's on everybody's mind will be answered. That question, of course, being in the lead up to the Super Smash Bros. Movie, will they finally release Mother 3 in the United States? Please subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.